the country. South Africa, interestingly enough, also has shut down, okay, completely. And if you live, let's say, in Durban, you can't go to Cape Town. That is how serious and intense their lockdown is. So it really is interesting, but he did address a number of issues. He has told us, we are aware now that the cases have gone up from 3 to 12 in the last couple of days. And also, Parliament has suspended non-essential travel. So unless it is of high importance, then lockdown despite the 12 cases. So that also becomes a major concern. And well, the president did encourage us to follow measures. He's also urged for bars, casinos to close completely, so as to help curb this pandemic. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm still processing that address. I'm still processing the address, to be honest.
I think so are all of us. Many people are still processing it, and you could tell from social media, and you drive off comments there, and you're like, okay, this is what everybody is
thinking.
They
don't seem satisfied.
They do not seem satisfied. It's like there's more to it, like you said, especially when it comes to transport. Everybody expected that would be addressed. I saw some of the comments on the Diamond TV page speaking about that. And even when it comes to restaurants, I don't know if it's a good thing that they stay open, even if it's just for delivery or takeouts.
Well, as it can't be transmitted via food, I feel like...
who's handling the food?
Well, as long as they also take in precautions, I think it would be okay.
But that's not 100% certain.
It's not, but also you also have to make sure that when you receive the food, how are you handling it? Have you made sure that you've washed your hands? That you... it also requires you to
disinfect the food as well.
Not to disinfect the food, but you get plastic. You just spray it. The tuma containers that they come in, just spray them also. It's not like the disinfectant will go into the food, especially if you're very careful about it. But my major concern is transport. Us not locking down. I feel 12 cases. This is, I would hate for us to reach 200 cases, God forbid, and then now we start panicking and saying, okay, now we're closing down borders and this, that, and the other. No. I mean, if these cases are only in Lusaka, right, then it is also our country's responsibility to ensure that those that don't have any cases, it's time you just shut down borders. No cross-town traveling, just shut it down completely, contain it where it is, so that you avoid transmission to other towns, across the borders. Zimbabwe is too close, guys. We have goods that are always coming in from South Africa. I feel like this should be the time now when government also should, and stakeholders, those with money, you guys, the wealthy Zambians, where are you? Where are you guys with your millions and millions of kwacha? This is the time I feel now maybe it would be nice to see, because I did see, okay, it would be quite a stretch. In South Africa, we had 3 top businessmen, wealthy businessmen, pump in like 3 billion rand, okay? Which is amazing. Now imagine if we could also have our own. They don't have to pump in 3 billion kwacha, but, just enough money maybe to help out the small SMEs or to pump into the different industries that we have in the country, so that I think it would encourage Zambians to buy Zambian. Yeah, I think this is the time now. All that Mongo rice, if there's people who just pack it in. Yeah, let's start packaging it into different packets. Localize it. Let people buy the local products. Like somebody was saying, toothpicks. Why must you be ordering toothpicks from South Africa? Make them here. If you need salt, we have local salt. You don't need to import the salt. Sugar, we've got our own sugar. There's no need for that fancy sugar that you want to... let's just boost the small local industries. The things the luxury items, we can do away with them for a little while. Why? Because I think our lives are much more important. So that's my thought.
I agree. That is true. I do agree as well. Honestly, above everything, health is the top priority. So anything else should come second. So that's what we need to look into, is just even taking care of ourselves. I know the president did address that people need to adhere to the rules of making sure you wash your hands, which is something, I saw a funny clip of a woman who was saying, but why are people talking so much about washing hands now? What have you been doing all this time? Did you see that?
They have not been washing
really, yeah, you have not been washing your hands. These are the things that we should have been doing even before, but then obviously because of what COVID-19 is now, and when you read on the transmissions of COVID-19, and now discovering that it stays in the air for like 45 minutes, you're like, oh my goodness, what is this?
But for that, it's when you're in the room with someone, so it's encouraged that you ventilate.
I feel like people should also just understand that this COVID-19 is bigger than any one of us. You need to understand that it's not choosing a certain country, it's not choosing a certain race or a certain gender or whatever. It's literally
a certain president was asking for a notification before COVID.
Now it didn't notify us.
It didn't notify us.
Exactly, like it's really bigger than us. So, like we really need to take this.
Okay, but that was very
How can a whole leader? It didn't notify us.
You're waiting for COVID to be like, hello, darling.
I'm here
now. Hi, my name is Vida. I'm the secretary to COVID-19. We'll be in
your country.
Or like a James Bond thing. My name is 19.
COVID-19.
That was very bizarre.
It was. So that for Wednesday, very bizarre.
That's bizarre. Okay, we'll share it a little bit later, so that for those that maybe that haven't seen it, we can be on the same page on that one. But anyway, so we're gonna have a very special guest come through, and she's coming from the Psychology Association of Zambia, and they had issued a press statement in regards just to help people or advise people just to stay calm. Because believe it or not, this time is very sensitive, so people begin to get anxious. People begin to start stressing. I was having a panic attack in the office much earlier on today, because I'm looking at the numbers and I'm reading all these things, and my body was feeling hot, and like I was just going through an anxiety attack. Okay, it was an anxiety attack, and I'm thinking to myself, how many other people are going through exactly just this, especially for some of us that might be nervous and whatnot. But they're calling for people to calm down, not to panic, because sometimes stress and that level of anxiety can actually lead you to have these flu-like symptoms and headaches when it's just you stressing your body. So you could end up going now to see a doctor and whatnot, and yet you are perfectly fine. You see?
Panic also makes you do stupid things, like buying everything in a shop, forgetting others need to buy too.
Exactly. Yeah, people need to stop that. Like, just get what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, don't get a whole store. Do not get the whole store. Anyways, other than that, on the show today, on a lighter note, it's so hard to have lighter notes during this time. Anyways, but we will talk a bit of film, as Henry Joe Sakala and Ben Banda will be coming through to the show, and we'll be talking Footers, which is the new play. When it comes to, I know with the people are not supposed to be gathering in numbers, so we'll just talk to them about theatre, how that will be affected right now during these times of COVID-19. Since every single thing we talk about, that has to be addressed as well. So we look forward to having Henry Joe Sakala and Ben Banda in the studio with us.
Yes, and something to definitely look out for. It's a Wednesday, so you know what we do on a Wednesday on Diamonds Connection. We always have brilliant, bizarre. I always look forward to the segments, because I get to realize there are a lot of weird people in the world.
There are a lot of weird people in the world, but also on the feature today, I'm excited for the feature because there is a it's called MedSearch, okay? It's called MedSearch. It's an app that has been created by 3 gentlemen. Very, very exciting thing. So this app, can literally tell you where the nearest hospital is, if you're looking for a hospital, depending on where you are in the country. And you can also find a vet service if you need one as well. So I thought it was
cool.
Right? Cool. And guess what? Them boys are Zambians.
Yes!
So well done to them, well done to them. I cannot wait to have them here so that we can begin to talk about this. And I don't no. I mean, what's interesting, what attracted me to this when it popped up on my feed on Twitter was, they were appealing to the government to see if they could also jump on it, because they've included a section where where they can load COVID-19 centers, okay? So that
that is so cool.
Right?
We need that.
Exactly, that's what I was supposed as well. Well, it is.
It's okay. It's fine. I could tell from the answer that I was about to be given.
Honey, we don't know what they're waiting for. I mean, the border's not closed yet. So anyway, so we're going to be speaking to them a little bit later as well. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. But the convo today, I know a few buses, starting today, a few bus owners are rolling out, cleaning out anyway their buses, spraying them, making sure they're disinfecting their buses, ensuring that on their buses they do have sanitizers. I saw an interesting comment about what is happening. I think it's in Solwezi. Before you jump on the bus, you need to wash your hands. I thought that was quite interesting.
After you get off, are they doing that as well?
I don't know. I don't think they're doing it when you get off. But I thought it was quite interesting to talk about, because this is only happening now. These measures were asked to be put in place, I think it was last week. So it's taken them a bit of time, but I want to know from you, from the buses that you've got on, have you seen maybe some of the buses try and do this, put this measure into place? Do they have sanitizers? Are the conductors themselves using sanitizers? Because they are touching a lot of money that is coming from a lot of people. And are we looking forward to seeing less and less people on the bus? So, if you want to leave your comment or you're going to share your thoughts with us, you can do that by texting us or simply going to our Facebook page and leaving your comment on there. Remember, you can watch us live on YouTube, Mingletainment, Facebook, and of course our TV platforms. Oh, don't forget the StarTimes app, but of course our TV platforms, and that is DSTV, Topstar, StarTimes, and Movie TV. We take a break, and on the other side we get talking about the combo. Are public transport doing enough to safeguard the lives of commuters?
Stay happier with DSTV's 2020. All you have to do is pay for your DSTV subscription and you get up to 42% discount. What's more, you get upgraded to the next package.
At one?
Just pay for your current package and get upgraded to the next package. With DSTV, even when times are tough, we got you. For you, I can do anything. Now, that's 2020. DSTV. Feel every moment. T's and C's apply.
Can I have that meal over there, and I really want that crisp, fresh apple juice. Oh God, can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big batch 2 meal with happy waziwaka.
Enjoy an appetizing big bag meal with an Appy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an Appy drink. And now introducing Appy in a can. There is a core belief at the heart of Liquid Telecom. The belief that every individual has the right to be connected. The pursuit of this vision has seen us build the largest independent fiber network in Africa. From Cape to Cairo, we are connecting all of Africa. Liquid Telecom, building Africa's digital future.
I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I don't care for no two about how much I care for you. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. There's nothing to worry.
Show some love to your fabrics with Boom Bubble Plus washing powder with powerful dirt-fighting enzymes and special color protection. White to whites and brighter colors. Fabrics love Boom. Get ready to step it up with GoTV. up your entertainment with GoTV. How does this work? Pay your account now and we'll upgrade you to the next GoTV package. Don't wait. Pay now and step up for more for the whole family. That's exactly what I want. GoTV. Live it. Love it.
Let's go into a world of taste and wonder, where homegrown natural ingredients burst with the flavor of real buttery love. From the skilled bakers at Amazon comes a fabulous shortbread biscuit baked to absolute perfection. Chelsea shortbread biscuits, made with real butter for that superb melt-in-your-mouth experience. Once you take a bite of Chelsea shortbread biscuits, you will experience the wonder and magic that goes into the making of perfect shortbread biscuits. So take a bite and enjoy Chelsea shortbread biscuits from Amazon. We bake them better.
Kings, improving lives.
Welcome back to the Diamond Connection, and well, it's time for us to get into the convo. And it's simply asking, are public transport doing enough to safeguard the lives of commuters? You and I that get onto these buses, are they doing enough, okay, to protect us? And remember, I think it was last week, this was a measure that had been brought forward, that buses should have sanitize at least for the commuters. Also, to have water and soap in the bus stations as well. So, is that being done? Have you come across that so far? We do know that some bus owners are from today actually putting that into effect. If you ask me, they're about a few days late, but at least
Better late than never.
yeah, but we've got cases that are rising, so I don't know if that is a comforting. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a very comforting statement. But anyway, do you think, guys? I mean, I got on a bus. I think I did share this. It was on Monday. Monday. I did get on the bus, and first of all, we were just jam-packed like sardines on the bus. Thank God I sat by the window, and I have a disinfectant, okay, that of Savlon, and make the Savlon mix. So that's what I've been using. Not so much for the hand sanitizers, but that's what I've actually been using, is disinfectant. It just feels more effective. Yes, and clean. I don't know if it's the smell. It comforts you. Yes, it comforts me. But I do have my sanitizer as well, but I just been using more of the disinfectant than the sanitizer, but that's just me. I need to seek more advice, I think, on that. But the moment I exchanged money, also, the moment I sat on the bus, I sprayed my hands and I wiped it, and I sat down. When it was time to pay, I gave the conductor the money. I disinfected my hands again. Like, it just became a habit throughout on that bus, right? I think I did it like 5-6 times. But what was interesting was I didn't see any other passenger with sanitizer or wipes or anything like that. The conductor didn't have. The bus driver also didn't have. So, I don't know. I'm just wondering, when are we going to jump onto this thing?
Well, here this from somebody who used the bus yesterday, this morning, to get here. The things are still the same as we left them on Monday. So even when maybe I just didn't look through the station, I connected to Kurima Tower. maybe I didn't look around and that's how come I didn't see like any wash basins or anything. But there was nothing there in the station. Well, this is what I saw, nothing there. And even on the buses I got on from Makeni, there was no sanitizer, no disinfectant on the bus. Maybe they disinfected the bus before I got there, but when I got there, what I saw was nothing was being done. And throughout, even with the passengers on the bus, well, I was sitting on the window side, that's the bus coming from Makeni into town. I was on the window side, so I didn't exactly, because I was trying to just get some air. The guy next to me was coughing. So my head was just literally out the window. I was just like, if that's it, you stay on corner. So I didn't really look around, but sanitizer, disinfectants, wipes, they have a strong scent. If somebody had put out something and used it, I was going to saw that. I would have observed that. So I think even the passengers themselves are not doing much. And that's on both buses from Makeni and even the one that came from town to Greatest. Getting on that bus, nobody was being sanitized. Nothing was happening. It was just business as usual.
And that was today.
That was today, this morning, a few hours ago. That was today, around 7 in the morning. So things are still the same. Nothing has changed.
I got on the bus on Monday, and I found it really strange because I feel like there were only 2 people in the bus that had hand sanitizer. So that was myself and another man. So when we got on the bus, I put sanitizer on my hands, and as soon as he got on the bus as well, he put sanitizer on his hands. And then the man was standing in front of me like, oh, I'm that, and I'm just like, okay, interesting, you understand? And
Sharing is caring.
exactly, no, I like the fact that you shared, it was really nice. But then coming back to Malama's point of where they're just packing us like sardines,
And sardines, by the way, darling, for those that may not know. Sardines is capenta, darling.
yeah, the one that just kind of in a bag, you understand?
No, they pack fresh capenta.
Yeah, and that's what I really did. The time I got off the bus and I got home, I went straight to bath. Like, I was just like so paranoid about how
You
to
wash your hands first before going to bath.
That's the thing, because I washed my hands before I could take off my clothes, because I was just like, before I touched my face, I was taking off the shirts. Then I went to shower, because I was so paranoid about everything. I'm like, in the case of COVID-19, first and foremost, why are we still wearing pants like this? Because this is something that somebody can, imagine if somebody on the bus had the COVID-19 and we have had like sardines, like a blender.
But I think maybe this is another reason why people felt, the president not addressing this transportation is a big deal.
It really
Because I can only imagine for them, it's a business as well. They're running a business. And if you're going to have, the bus should be at least at 60% occupancy. It means maybe you have, in front it's just the driver and the front seat. Then maybe on that seat where they sit, they plastic bonded one. So where they sit for, you have maybe just 2. In fact, if anything, there should be 1. And then the next seat, maybe you can have 1, 2, 3 because of the conductor there. Then also the next one, maybe just 3 people. With a little bit of, enough space. But then I think 3 is too much again. Maybe 2 again and 2. They're going to make losses. So the question I think people want to know is, if fuel had reduced, then maybe that could be put into consideration. Or should we
at this point, it's the same discussion we had. We need to put the business minds aside and just think it's health first. So even before you think your profits, what's happening to your passengers? If they get sick, they won't board your bus tomorrow. That's a big loss for you. Yes, they won't board your bus tomorrow. That's a bigger loss for you. So you're thinking for now, you want to buy your profits today, but you're not thinking, okay, if these people are around forever and we manage to get over this thing, business will be back to normal and you make your profits. So at this point, just like Dr. Aaron had said, Dr. Aaron Jagati said, at this point I think businesses should stop thinking in those lines. Exactly. Let's prioritize health.
Yes, exactly. That's what I don't like. What's the point of you making a profit and then at the end of the day you get sick? Because this virus is serious. You get sick and you die. And the profit will buy a coffee. We ain't doing that too.
I guess so.
Like, think about it, guys. Let's really take care of our health. Because at the end of the day, the public won't be there when we are buying you.
True. Anyway, let's take a look into the comments and see what people are saying on social media.
Zai says, I feel it's definitely not the other. I feel it's definitely not. The other day I sat next to this man that kept on coughing and sneezing. I felt like that was the end of me at that time. Me this morning.
I choked. Like, you know when sometimes maybe your saliva goes down your pipe. Yeah,
the wrong pipe, yeah.
Yeah, and then all I did was the woman next to me.
She was just being careful. She was mean.
But I don't know the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's right, I understand.
Mark says in CB we are washing hands when boarding. Okay. Well done, CB.
Well done, CB.
And Wendy there, unfortunately not. I have not seen conductors and drivers using hand sanitizer, and some passengers have a habit of closing windows. Yeah, why? Even now, stop it. Closing windows once they get on the bus. The Ministry of Health should partner with bus owners in sensitizing bus drivers and conductors, including commuters, on the importance of hygiene. Otherwise, some of us are thinking of walking to work if the worst comes to the worst. Mageni, Bridget. Mageni. The economy is bad to everyone. We need money now. No,
your health.
No, you can't.
Listen, also I think for the bus drivers and conductors, especially if it's not your bus, listen, you could get sick, and also if you are HIV positive or have TB, the way you how can I put this?
If your immune system is not strong, once this hits you, it's terrible. We need to take care. You can't be thinking, oh, because we survived Ebola. No, you can't. It's here.
Yeah, put yourself first.
I'm thinking about you. Think of it this way. If you're just a bus conductor or a bus driver and that's not even your bus, when you die, you'll be replaced. That bus is
that same day, though, just put another person, pull and out.
That's
and then it's done.
Of the response I got from the conductor about the same coronavirus. So people are complaining, and she was like, Madam, I'm just like, okay.
You're right. But let's finish up with those comments. Alright, okay, so we're going to take a break, and on the other side we continue with the Dining Connection.
Nilipaniko iyo chono mtegere iyo notice goy what cats ipange hivi kutoka dunia pamo chapita upanginga. I'm afraid we don't speak that language here. Please speak English. On set, we require a double dosage, 2 bottles of an inhibited kitten, vitality thirst-quenching beverage known as Wildcat. Exactly. Oh, this is a cockroach. Wanyana. George Kaja. You see this is a phone. But there's some people out there that will try to convince you that this phone is in fact a laptop. You know why? Because you are phones. But there's another guy out there
that will tell you just as it is. A phone is a phone, and a laptop remains a laptop. That's just how fake news works. There's a guy spreading fake news, and they try to convince you that this phone is a laptop, that the news they're giving is true, when in fact not. But there's another guy that tells you, I don't have a laptop. This laptop is a laptop. I don't have a phone. This phone is a phone. This is a laptop. And I have both. Tune into the Diamond News Desk at 8 and get balanced news. Truth, fact for fact. In fact, if it's not on Diamond TV, then it's unverified news. Catch the Diamond News Desk at 8 every day. You can also catch the Diamond News Summary at 10 p.m. We are the leaders in working news.
Let's go into a world of taste and wonder, where homegrown natural ingredients burst with the flavor of real buttery love. From the skilled bakers at Amazon comes a fabulous shortbread biscuit baked to absolute perfection. Chelsea shortbread biscuits, made with real butter for that superb melt-in-your-mouth experience. Once you take a bite of Chelsea shortbread biscuits, you will experience the wonder and magic that goes into the making of perfect shortbread biscuits. So take a bite and enjoy Chelsea shortbread biscuits from Amazon. We bake them better.
Drinkings, improving lives.
Hemos mundo concreto body. Nchosa buda, umedua inga 11.
Sungani umoyo wabadalana, chingizani manzi ya munyansi. Nabimbuzi bakongile mungoti. Vovomelesewa, vemichoka, kuli wadusaka wotansore champani.
From chocolate, vanilla, strawberry and banana, and taste the joy in every sip. Milky Milkshake, the shake that moves. Trade Kings, improving lives.
Form King boasts itself in being a leading foam manufacturer that has a significant contribution in providing quality guaranteed mattresses and other foam products. We are major suppliers to national institutions such as hospitals, schools, hotels, lodges, and other established wholesale and retail organizations. Foam King utilizes only high-quality raw materials sourced from leading suppliers. Our high-quality fabrics are especially made and designed for each of our mattresses and bed ranges. With precision carpentry skills coupled with a
Our head office on plot 6300 Kabundi Road off Mumbwa Road. Email sales@formking.com.zm. Call us on +260 211 28 7652 or 286776. Visit our Ndola office on plot 3084 Nakambala Road. Email us at sales.ndl@formking.com.zm or call us on +260 212 651 130 or 650 158. Visit our website on www.formking.com.zm. Form King, our secret to a good night's sleep.
Every time I wash clothes, something goes wrong. The clothes are itchy, they are stretched, or completely faded. What am I doing wrong?
You're missing something.
Huh?
Boom Fabric Conditioner is specially formulated to stop your clothes from shrinking, stretching, fading, and fuzz. With Fragrance Burst technology, Boom Fabric Conditioner gives you a scent that lasts for weeks, keeping clothes fresher for longer. Try Boom Fabric Conditioner for a scent that lasts. Trade Kings, improving lives.
This one goes out to all our dreamers.
You are killing it.
The fearless, the ambitious, the lovable, the fierce, the hilarious, the fighters, the inspirational, the strong, the believers. Celebrate all our powerful women this International Women's Month with GoTV. We are for every woman. Yes! GoTV. Live it. Love it.
Everywhere I go, people wanna know why my dance moves are better. Chimalila nikabwela nikangena yaso, olo yaso, uchaya bwanji yaso. I just let the fun shine.
That shirt you're wearing,
it's brand new.
I like your style. What's that you're drinking?
Sunday, it looks so brand new. Oh, 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 I'm drinking Sunday. Let the fun shine. Brand new flavor. Brand new taste. Brand new. I'm feeling brand new with Sundance.
Feel brand new with Sundance with a fresh new look and new taste. And introducing sparkling new Sundance Passion. Sundance, let the fun shine. Trade Kings, improving lives.
By empty square.
I'm a diamond, I'm a diamond, I'm a diamond, you know I'm meant for you.
Alright, so welcome back to the Diamond Connection, and of course it's time for us to get into a very interesting segment, and this is Tell Me Something. But before we do have some breaking news for you. Believe it or not, Prince Charles has been found positive with coronavirus. Oof. Guys, we need to really take this very, very seriously. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, follow measures. If there's too many people on the bus, advise the people on the bus. If you don't need to go outside,
Stay inside.
Stay inside. Just stay inside. Please, please protect yourself. This is a very, very serious global pandemic. But bringing it back home, of course, in the midst of all this, okay, people are starting to panic. People are stressing out over this. I did share with you earlier on today, I did have a slight anxiety attack because of what I was also seeing off social media, what I'm getting as well. When you're in the media, you get to read all sorts of things and you're just thinking, oh my gosh, is this really happening? What is going on? Was absolutely crazy. But with us, okay, is Jacqueline Jerry Folotia, and she is president of the Psychology Association of Zambia. They did release a press statement, just encouraging people also to not to panic, first of all, to follow measures, and also not to panic because stress and anxiety also could lead you, okay, or could trick your body to thinking that you do have the virus when you actually don't. You could have too much symptoms, and then you start panicking. and all of that. And also we're just going to try and encourage people just to, in as much as they're social distancing, but let's not stigmatize each other during this very difficult time. Staying at home is also very tricky. How can you manage? I know some people are losing it right about now. They've had enough of their four walls. They want to go outside, do something, but right now, guys, it's not advisable. But first, let's get into this and see what the doctor has for us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you're here. It's so nice to have somebody from the association come through, especially because I always say Zambia is like one country, like if it was a person, or like the country needs a lot of therapy. We've been gathering a lot, and now we've got Corona, which is just also making people lose their minds. But of course, the Psychology Association of Zambia, PAZ, did release a statement encouraging people, encouraging the public not to panic, especially because stress and anxiety, which comes naturally in people's daily lives, but right now it's a bit different, and this could cause people to have, you did say flu-like symptoms and headaches. How does that happen from the psychology side of point of view first? Let's try and understand the science behind that.
Right. So I think that we can look at it from two perspectives. First of all, when we're anxious or when we're scared or fearful, our body responds, right? So think about a time when you were afraid. What happens? What do you feel?
I was having, like, my chest was tight.
Yes.
My skin was hot. I'm just thinking, what's happening now?
Right. So our bodies do respond to our emotions. Okay. That's number one. And then secondly, when we're stressed or when we experience anxiety, what happens is that our immune system is affected. So that makes us vulnerable to different infections, including the flu. Okay. So during this time when we're all panicking, we're all stressed, what's happening is that our immune system is reducing, and we are most likely to have a flu. And because we have the flu, and because there's COVID-19 going around, we might begin to think that, that's what we have.
You're going through symptoms.
Exactly. So what it is really, it's just that the immune system is responding to the stress, and therefore you are likely to get an infection. So we're not saying that you shouldn't take these flu symptoms seriously. I think you should, and if you do experience those flu symptoms, I do believe that the Ministry of Education has put in place guidelines that we should follow when we do experience these flu-like symptoms. So do not go to the hospital, obviously, because we don't want to overwhelm the medical health sector. Yes, but also there are helplines that you can call, I believe, in case you do experience those symptoms, and they'll give you advice on what to do next. But also, I think most importantly, self-isolate.
Self-isolate. Right. I like that you've brought up self-isolation. I know a lot of companies, even just from the Ministry of Health, it encourages that people should stay home, work from home. That is what a lot of companies now are preaching: work from home.
Right.
I've seen people losing it, especially because now they've got especially those with young kids.
Right.
Everybody's home. Right. They're being driven up the wall. What advice would you give them, just to get through this? Because it must be a lot of, it must put a lot of mental pressure on people.
Right. So I think what's important to note is that isolation is not part of our normal routine. That's not something that we're expected to do on a day-to-day, but because of this situation, we have to comply. So we're having to move out of our comfort zone like that. Okay. But I think what's important also to note is that when we're in isolation, we need structure. Structure is very, very important. So think about your normal day. What would you do on your normal day? You would get up, you would go to work, you would do different activities, whether you're working or whether you're someone who stays at home. So it's important for you to have a plan, to have a schedule of what your day will look like. So when you wake up in the morning, what will you do? If you're going to work, how long are you going to work for? What are you going to focus on? If you have internet and you have to have appointments, you can still have those meetings via Skype or any of these other forums. So I think that structure is important. Your day has to continue. And you spoke about kids.
Yes.
Even the kids need structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have structure when they go to school. That's how come they're able to thrive in that environment. So structure is equally important, even at home. So when we tell our kids, you sleep at a certain time, we eat at a certain time, we play at a certain time, all of that is structure, and it's good for them as well. So as much as you're a working parent and you're staying at home, you need to have structure, and so do your children. And it's important that if you're working from home, you need to make sure that you create that work kind of space for yourself. So if it's like a table where you're going to be working from, and the kids know that, okay, if mom or dad are in that corner, then they are working, then it means that we shouldn't disturb them. Okay, so just creating those boundaries around, your work activities and the kids. But also I think that because we're staying at home, we're more exposed to a lot of social media. We're watching a lot of TV.
Yep.
Whichever channel you flick to, everybody's talking
All
about
the news
COVID-19.
channels are called
Exactly.
COVID-19.
And that can really, raise your anxiety. It gets us more worried. It gets us more stressed. So an important thing to do whilst you're staying at home is also to make sure that you limit the amount of social media that you expose yourself to, the amount of information related to COVID-19. It's important for us to stay informed, but also we need to make sure that we're managing ourselves in terms of how much we expose ourselves to, because it does have an effect on our mental health. So maybe choose to get an update in the morning and in the evening, or maybe 3 times a day rather than continuously. And also, even as we're getting different types of information going around, the do's and the don'ts, the
there was
cures
a break
and the
of a
non-cures.
hunter virus, and everybody was just losing it, and people were about to were bashing Chinese people, and it became a racial back and forth on social media, which was just so sad. Avoid maybe even mental breakdowns because we're not used to that environment, or to maybe to calm the anxiety and the stress. Are there things we could do? I saw something, I don't know what you'd call it in your field, but somebody was counting fingers. I don't know if that's also a form of treatment to try and calm yourself down. All right,
so I think there are different ways that people calm themselves down. So what might work for you might not necessarily work for her. So it's about thinking of things that work for you as an individual. Okay, and so people do different things. Some, in order to calm themselves down, they do breathing exercises. So really taking deep, counting up to 10 as you breathe in, counting up to 10 as you breathe out, several times helps people relax. People exercise. So exercising is also good because what it does is that it actually releases the feel-good hormones as opposed to the stress hormones, the endorphins as they call them. And it helps us relax, okay? So I think what's important is finding something that you like to do, that's something that brings you joy, whatever that might be. It might be reading a book, it might be skipping, it might be, taking a nap, anything that will help you relax.
I would also like to know, you said earlier when we just started the interview that when you're stressed or anxious, you can kind of show some symptoms that might make you believe you may have the COVID-19. But is there a way you can know that this is just probably me stressing out, or this might be something serious, I should probably call the cold line or something?
Right. Okay. So I think apart from getting the medical advice that we spoke about, I think one of the things that you can do is just stop and think, why do I feel this way? Because a lot of the way we feel sometimes is related to how we're thinking. So our thoughts and our feelings and how we then behave are all very interconnected. So, so what are your thoughts about how this COVID situation? What is it that you think is making you feel this way? Okay, and then you find that a lot of the times we have a lot of unhelpful thoughts, a lot of irrational thoughts, a lot of untrue thoughts that then help us feel anxious. But just being aware of those is very important, and you're really asking yourself, so this thought that I'm having, is it really true? No, probably not, So I think that having that level of self-awareness is really, really important. But also I think you're in the home environment. I think interacting with having a discussion maybe with your children or your partner to help rationalize this. Having a discussion about it with someone maybe who's slightly older and who can, understand you can also help, because then they'll also help you realize that, your thoughts aren't really, helping you. Yeah.
That's very true.
What about for those that are possibly in isolation? I know it must be a depressing thing. They must be losing their heads, because especially if you're waiting for your results, you don't know if you have it, if you don't have it. The thoughts must be. I would hate to be in that position, to be honest, because I know myself. I know I would probably lose my head.
Right.
But what advice would you give, to people that are probably going through 1,000,001 thoughts right about now? And also for those that are in quarantine, because there's only so much you can do. You can't go outside when you want to go outside. You can't do the things that you would have loved to do, because now your situation is completely different from everybody else maybe in that home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so the first thing I would say is stay socially connected. I think it's very important, right? So when we're socially connected, we're in touch with the people we love, and they're there to support us and give us encouragement, which is what people in that situation really, really need. They need to stay connected with everybody else. And then the second thing also is, even when in isolation, structure is very important. So keep yourself busy, rather than... Because you're in isolation and, we might have the tendency to tell ourselves, oh, I'm sick, or they'll probably find me positive, and, there might be a tendency to sleep the whole time, or, to just feel sad and not, keep yourselves active. So it's important for them to still stay active. If they're working, if they have a laptop, whatever, they continue working, just, to keep busy. They need to keep busy. They need to have structure even whilst in that situation. It's very, very important. They need to know, so what am I going to do next? What am I focusing on? How long am I going to do it for? Very, very important. But also, as I said, limit information.
Of social media.
Yes. Limit how much information you take in.
I know, out of Italy, people that were in quarantine, some I was reading, were committing suicides. I can imagine... if you're the person in quarantine and you're reading something like that, the things it could trigger in you should be... I wouldn't even want to begin to think of what would be going through one's mind in that moment.
Right. And also, I think importantly, to stay active, stay healthy. Continue to eat healthy. Continue to exercise, even if your space is limited, find something that you can do, just to be active. That's really important as well.
Social distancing.
And do something that you love.
Right? Do something that you love.
Within that space, find something that you can do that you enjoy doing that will bring you joy. For some, it's as simple as prayer. For some, it's as simple as singing. So whatever it is that can, uplift your mood, do it. To do, yes.
Social distancing is something that a lot of people are having a challenge with. How are there tricks, mental tricks maybe, that we can go about just to have that constant reminder that, look, we're not supposed to be high-fiving each other right now?
Right. I think that's really difficult. I think that what we need to do is just to be really, really conscious of it, awareness of it. So when you see someone, obviously your immediate reaction is to high five or hug, if So I think that it's just being conscious and just reminding ourselves why we're doing this. Even for people in isolation, it's important for them to know why are they in isolation. Why is it important for them to do that? Likewise, for us, we need to keep always at the back of our minds, why is it that we're doing this? Okay, and also just to be aware. I mean, it's a habit that we've developed, the high-fiving and the hugging, but it's important for us to always remember why we're doing it. And as we're doing it, we need to stop ourselves. And sometimes it's the other person who needs to stop us. Yeah. Like, oh, remember, we're not supposed to be hugging. Yeah.
Well, lastly, before, I'm very sad that we've come to the end of this because I've got so many questions. But mental health in this country is still it's still below par. People just don't take it as serious as they should. So why did the association feel the need, or see the importance to come out and just tell people, look, don't panic. The moment you begin to, these are the things that could happen.
Right. So I think that, with this situation, the first thing that people think of is their physical health. Yeah, because, we're getting sick and we're getting these physical symptoms as a result of the sickness. Yeah. Right? But when that happens, the psychological bit also kicks in. All right, that if we fear for our health, or if we are sick, we feel a certain way. We get scared, we get worried, we get anxious. And so there's a huge psychological component to all of this. There's a huge psychological component to treatment. There's a huge psychological component to isolation. There's a huge psychological component to, quarantine, everything, even panic buying. There's a psychological component to that. So I think that, part of healing is not healing your physical well-being, but also your mental well-being. And dealing with this also does require for us, to be in a certain mental state, to have a certain psychological health or mental health, to be able to handle the stress and the pressure and the worry and all of these unknowns around us. So I think for us, yes, we need people to get the medical treatment for sure, but the psychological bit should not be left out, because it will affect people, whether you're infected, or not. Your family is affected if someone in the family is sick. God forbid, should they be dead, there's, a lot of grief around that. So I think that, it's important that the psychologists not be left out of this. And I'm happy to say that, should anyone need psychological help during this time, the association has people on standby who are willing to come forward and provide the assistance. Yeah. And obviously we will not be able to meet face to face, obviously, but,
so if someone in isolation, can they still go through maybe and be able to do therapy sessions?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Yes, they can.
That's really good.
Yes,
really,
and it's really, really important that, we make use of that service, because people need it right now.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Thank you. We're gonna take a break, and on the other side, Benny Bundle is here. Okay, and we're gonna be talking about the play that has been put on hold. Okay, until all this blows over. But it's a very interesting play, with a lot of satire, and oh my gosh, I can't wait for him to tell us a little bit more. But sadly, this play had been started way back alongside Augustine Lungu, who's no more. So I wonder how he feels also, to want to bring this back to the stage and not have, the one person that started all this with him in the very beginning. Well, we're going to take a break, and on the other side, well, there's still more to come.
Restaurant business commands for high standards of hygiene, and no compromises are permissible. And even in my home, I make sure to maintain the same high standards. With Broomforce Cream, I'm assured that even the toughest of stains are easily removed, as Broomforce Cream contains millions of microcleaning particles. Broomforce Cream's powerful stain-removing properties ensure my home is thoroughly clean to the highest of standards.
Broomforce Cream, your cleaning muscle.
There is a core belief at the heart of Liquid Telecom. The belief that every individual has the right to be connected. The pursuit of this vision has seen us build the largest independent fiber network in Africa. From Cape to Cairo, we are connecting more of Africa. Liquid Telecom, building Africa's digital future.
Here's a little song that we wrote for you. The words are very simple and they're only two. Scream it, just scream it. Like the moonlight adds a little light in the dark, you got to add a little light in your cup. Scream it, just scream it. Scream it, ichilana mukaka. Scream it, ona kutikama.
Introducing Cream It Tea is not a coffee till you cream it. Trade Kings, improving lives.
This March, Zambezi Magic brings you a different take of the movie festival.
Who did this to you, Princess?
I don't know, Dad.
Where insecurities turn into liabilities of love.
You've been talking to Butch behind my back.
That lead gold diggers to do the extreme.
You cut me off.
Did you really think you'll continue blackmailing me forever?
But they end up doing the forbidden. Get your popcorn ready on Sunday and make it a date with Zambezi Magic.
Fruticana, Fruticana. Oh, no, no. Yeah, you are the test of a perfect summer. You are my guest at every dinner. You be exciting about them killer. You are the reason now I'm with her. Yonse, ni kudu milile. Life is better with you every day. You are the reason I'm feeling this way. Can nobody take this away? Fruity, kinda. You're the test of a perfect summer. Cause of you and I'm no other. Oh, no. Fruity, kinda. Why did I have to discover? Because of you and I'm no other. Oh, no.
Introducing Fruticana fruit juice. Fruticana, find your fruity side. Trade Kings, improving lives.
So, Footers, a play that was born in 2002, believe it or not. That's a very, very long time. And with this play, you know, it's supposed to be a two-man play, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
A two-man play with lots of satire. I hear there's lots of jokes here and there. And I would just like to know from you, but we do have one of the originators with us in studio, and that is Benny Banda. It's just a shame Henry Joe couldn't be here, because I'd have loved to have had just a skit from
Right?
both of you. It would have been absolutely great. I mean, in the time of Corona, I think it's
We need
also
a light
important.
moment.
Yes, we all need a light moment just to, zone out a little bit. But of course, Betty is in studio with us, and welcome to our Diamond Connection.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're here. I always think theater is always different. It's quite exciting. It's intriguing. It's amusing, amazing to see actors think on their toes. If they forget a line, they still have to think on their toes. If something, yes, you literally are a live act.
You're live every moment of the time that you're on stage.
Yeah. I love that. I really, really do love that. But I would like to know from you, what inspired the play Footers, and what exactly, is it about? I mean, it's a two-man show.
Yeah.
So, what is this?
It is a two-man show,
Mhm.
which actually deals with a lot of situations. You will get to notice that way back then, we had a situation where people never got paid on time.
Yeah.
You know.
They still don't.
Yeah, it's better now. It's better now. But during those days, teachers would go for months on end without their pay, and they'd hear that their salary had been sent to a different province totally, and people would have to scrounge, and facilities were not that good.
Yeah.
Most of those that worked in the rural areas had to actually walk to the bank, like you walk from where you stay to the office to get your check first and foremost, and then you walk to the bank, and then you walk back home.
Oof, that was a lot of walking.
Yes. Now you can imagine if that's a teacher who's having to do that sort of walking. By the time he gets back to school, it's payday again. And he'd have to get back on the road.
Yeah.
So it's a satire around that kind of situation, which was very prevalent that time when the show was actually created. We started this show after we had done a play called Woza Albert, which is another two-man show, but it's South African originated.
I think it got an award. Is it the Woza?
Yes, Woza Albert. Woza Albert is one of those shows that's done rounds and rounds. It actually recently returned from the UK, just having completed it.
Is it a Zambian original?
No, it's a South African original, but it asks a very pertinent question.
Which is?
Like they did a very, very intense kind of research around that question, and got a lot of people's feedback, like what their expectations would be, where they think they would want to take Jesus to, and how they would agree to feed him on, and where he would have to spend his night, or something like that. So they did a very, very good piece of work. It's got multiple characters. So Augustine and I worked on that production. And we had just finished a play called The Progressive Dinner Party. And the guy that wrote The Progressive Dinner Party, Shay Linehan, an Irish guy, came to see Woza Albert. And he thought, okay, you guys, there seems to be some chemistry which is really working. I can't believe this is a two-man cast play. But what if we do something like develop the concept that had been initially created in The Progressive Dinner Party, where there was another scene of two characters, and it was Augustine and I. So we said, okay, fine, let's deal with it. So Shay took on something from his work, because he used to work in education a lot, and that was one of the problems they encountered every time he went out to an outstation. He would get there and be told, well, the headmaster's not here, he's gone to collect his salary. So it would be like, okay, so when is he back? Like maybe 3-4 days.
Wow.
So he brought that up as a concept, and we thought, okay, what if a teacher of that sort meets up a hustler, a street guy, a kaponya from the city, and the two of them try to work out some magic to survive together?
Wow.
What exactly would happen? So we went through a workshop for almost 6 weeks. Augustine and I would run through certain scenes, and Shay would scribble them down, and then he would make his additions, and back and forth. But 6 weeks down the line, we had a play, which was like 2 hours 30 minutes long.
2 hours 30 minutes, and with only 2 people?
Exactly.
That must have been a very interesting script.
You're playing multiple roles, not just like one. Yeah. I was playing Zeddy, who was also the character that would tend to Annie.
Yeah.
He would tend to Archibald, and he would tend to Flossie. Wow. That was long before
I would
Dorita.
love to know who Flossie is. I mean, Flossie sounds like an interesting character.
Like the chick around town.
Yes, yeah.
And so we had so many characters to play, and you had to actually change within minutes, within seconds sometimes, and come back as a totally different character, and the story has to flow.
That must be like so challenging, especially because maybe, and I'm sure it requires some serious level of professionalism
commitment as well.
And commitment. Yeah, because I mean, you're stepping out from one character, jumping into another. Did you ever have moments where you're like, oh my God, this is, I'm Flossie now?
Well, there were times when you'd get back on stage not having fully dressed. Because
please tell me that
the line is about to come, and you have to be on cue, and meanwhile you can't find your shoe backstage, and you're like struggling and strapping all over the place, and you come back with a shoe in hand, and you're like, so what are you doing here?
Oh my gosh.
And Augie would be like, and where's your other shoe? okay, just wait. And then you'd go back because you'll have at least bought yourself a bit of time.
Yeah.
So you'd go back, search again, and then come back fully dressed and say, yeah, so let's talk. You know?
Wow.
So I mean, initially it was a really, really big challenge.
Yeah.
But after so many times of running the show, we got to get to grips with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it started working clockwork.
That must have been, like, for me, I think I would love those. I mean, that is so unscripted.
Yeah.
It's so spontaneous.
The improvisation. You have to be really good at improvisation.
Yeah. So it was that kind of show.
Mm-hmm.
We toured with it quite much. We did almost the whole of Zambia. Even went out to places where there were no theater houses.
Yeah.
And we had to improvise the lighting because it actually requires a lot of lighting.
Okay.
Yeah. The set is very simple. The set is very simple, but there's a lot of flashes and changes because all the switches from one scene to the next just cued by lighting. So light comes up there, you switch to a totally different scene. And light comes up somewhere else, you switch to a totally different scene.
But it's all on the same stage.
Yeah, it's all on the same stage. It's all on the same stage, and it's live.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned you used to do it with Augustine Lugome, so rest in peace.
Yeah, great man.
Exactly. So what are some of the most memorable moments you can remember being on stage with Augustine?
Wow.
By a lot.
Yeah, too many. You know, I mean,
I could tell.
it was magical. It was magical. He had his way of getting around very sneaky issues, and you know, he had his way of making your audience feel really appreciated. He had his way of uplifting every little blip that might occur, but he also had his way of messing up.
He's human after all.
You know, so we had really brilliant moments where he would like skip a whole portion of lines, and he finds himself so far ahead, and you're like, okay, so how do we get back to where we're supposed to be, because the story is not working. You know, and then you give him, and then he says, oh yeah, in fact I remember, you know. Then he would roll back and pick it up, but it would all be in character.
Wow.
Because that's what a professional actor is.
Yeah, that's like pure talent.
You don't show your audience. Even the guy that saw the show yesterday must not actually think there's something you have skipped here. You know, they should go with the flow, and probably when they get out of the show, then they'll think, I didn't hear that joke.
I mean, they have to not know, right?
They have to not know. It's all in the
Exactly.
moment.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're working with Henry Joe.
And Yombwe.
And Yombwe, yeah. How is that? I mean, you're coming from doing this with Augustine for a long time, and, you know, may so rest in peace.
Yeah.
And now you've brought on a whole different person. How is that working? How is the chemistry as well with you?
It's a challenge. It's usually a challenge because, of course, one thing you can't deny is that Henry Joe Sakala and Yombwe, who I'm actually directing,
Yes.
They're also their own persons. So they've got their own strengths, and they've got their own ways of working through a few nitty-gritties. So you get to find a bit of a challenge, because as a director sometimes I think I get to press too hard.
Yeah, because you're looking at
I'm looking
where
at
it's coming from.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is a show that toured the UK for like 6 weeks, and we went through 6 universities. It went to the Edinburgh Festival, and it was like one of the biggest shows in the Edinburgh Festival. And then you come back, and you're working with 2 guys that didn't see the show then, and you're expecting those sparks. And, okay, somehow you forget that, look, this is the first time they're encountering the script, as in delivering it. They saw the show when we did it, but when you're working with a show and you're having to deal with a script now, it becomes a totally different concept. So I feel sometimes I'm too demanding, but they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 episodes, I think they've done very, very well. I mean, in the 8 epi amount of time that we've actually worked on the show, like 2-3 weeks and getting into the 4th week, I was like, what? We took 6 weeks to get this show together, and these guys are like already in this chemistry. I know it's because they've worked together as well before in another 2-man show which I directed, but I think they've been really impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, they've been really impressive.
Sorry to cut you off. Because there's one thing I really appreciate about theatre is the fact that you guys have to be on your toes when it comes to lines. It's not like while you're filming something, you can probably look at your script and then film that. So, if you could just kindly give us your secrets to how you easily got those lines, I feel like I would really appreciate that.
Do you want to do stage work? Are you a good actress?
I studied directing and drama in university, so theatre was like the love of my life.
So come. I'm working on the House of Bernarda Alba, which is a 6-woman show, all women.
Wow.
So yeah, you can have a try.
We are coming to audition.
You know, the thing is that, okay, theatre is a lot of hard work. It's actually where you have to show your mettle in terms of proficiency, professional performance, articulacy, you know, projection and all that kind of thing. And emotions at the same time. And the guy who's sitting like 25 meters away from you in the back row has to hear you, and he has to actually appreciate your emotion. If you're going to have tears running down your face, there have to be enough tears for him to see. Otherwise, you'll be thinking, what's he doing? Is he crying? Is he smiling? So things like that. So it's a lot of hard work. I mean, you need to have different techniques. Either you use your emotional techniques like Stanislavskian methods, or you use the Brechtian methods, which are also different. You can actually use what you'd look at as more of a memory box type thing. You know, because you've been working on this play for quite some time, you get to understand the different emotions required in the different scenes. So in as much as I might be smiling in one scene, I'm actually building up for a sad scene which is coming a little later. So you won't see the switch between the smiling me and the crying me in a flip of a second. Because he'll just say one line and he's supposed to break me down. But how does it break me down if I haven't built up this emotion from the previous scene?
True.
So you need to have those techniques in hand. So there's what they call the memory box technique, where you have probably a few things in your memory cache. Maybe try and remember when you lost a loved one, and you bring along a little something that reminds you of them. You probably keep it in the pocket, and as that scene draws near, you start to twiddle with it and build up your emotion and try to remember that person, but you still have to give your lines as the scene is going.
I mean, I loved it. I remember I used to do a lot of school plays, and I was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
If you do so yourself. No, I know, honey. I am Malama model.
You know.
So it's just amazing. I mean, theatre then I know was such a big thing, because even in schools we're doing these plays and whatnot. Are you happy with maybe where theatre is today?
Not very.
Yeah.
Theatre today has sort of lost a bit of its footing, so to speak. We're trying to bring it back. The main writer, you know. So you find that a lot of people have found a lot more prestige and fame in being on TV than being in the theatre. But then what they forget is that actually acting was born on stage. Even all those big guys, they
all started from Broadway.
They still go back to the theatre to do theatre shows when they are in between film sets. You know, you still go back and because you need to show your mettle for performance. You just don't get into film and stay there, get stuck there and all that. The Denzel Washingtons go back. The the Winslets, they go back.
Yeah, they all
you know, them Judy Dench, she goes back to the theatre. In fact, the time that we were running our show with Augustine in the UK, we actually went to see a show which Judy Dench was in. You know, and I mean, it's a thing that keeps your practice alive. So this time, that movement from from stage to screen, has sort of stolen quite a lot of people, because then they don't have the time to like invest 6 weeks in doing a theater show. They will struggle, they will haggle here and there. So they'd rather go into a show where they'll have a script on the side, and you know, you have a screenshot, and every now and then you can drop your eyes and pick up something. So it's something that I think we can work to improve on by encouraging those people to come back into the theater.
Now, lastly, I know the play has been postponed. It was supposed to have been it was supposed to have happened last
19th,
week.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was last week, eh? Or the week before. With the corona, how are you guys feeling? Are you gonna bring it back a little bit later once everything's died down?
Yeah, hopefully everything will be rescheduled, because there were also a few other shows that were supposed to come after our show. So we'll have to discuss with those guys and see if they can also bump their dates forward, so that we keep the sequence as it is, but just start a little later. But if there will be those that will feel like, no, we don't want to bump our dates forward, we want to stick to our dates, there's very little we can do. But the show will definitely run.
The show will definitely go
definitely
on.
The show will run. It might not open at Lusaka Playhouse. We might open it on the Copperbelt while waiting for these other shows to like move on here, and then we bring it back here afterwards.
Well, all the best. Thank you so much. I think this. I don't want to be biased, but I think this has been one of my best or my favorite interviews. So.
Oh really?
This year.
Well, I'm glad. Thanks,
I really did enjoy myself and having
you made it. You guys.
No, you are the star. You are the star. But thank you, and we wish you all the best. And we do hope you know that the show will get the success that it deserves. So thank you.
Okay.
We're gonna take a break, and on the other side, guys, it's all about this really, really cool app. It's called MedSearch, and I think this is about to change things for a lot of us. And also, if the ministry did pick this up, I think it would be fantastic. Why? Because it does have a feature where you could actually maybe search for centers that you could go to seek attention if you are experiencing symptoms. So we're going to take a break, and on the other side we will be joined by two very special gentlemen.
Ready to win big? Get into the game for real with a sport betting app shaking Zambia. CastleBet. Visit www.castle.bet to play. Call now or WhatsApp on 0969 966 599. CastleBet offers fast, instant payouts as soon as the final whistle blows. Cash out winnings instantly via MTN or Airtel Mobile Money or FNB ATM. Get into the game wherever you are. In the office, at the bar with friends, or even at home watching TV. Win 800,000 kwacha on any game thanks to the CastleBet app. You can even bet live during the match as you watch the game on TV. Join online in less than 30 seconds by visiting www.castle.bet or call or WhatsApp on 0969 966 599. Mwai wako.
Milk.
I'm supposed to test these three, and I'm supposed to choose which one is better, right?
Milk is milk, I mean.
I think there's a difference. I think E the best tea. I'll go with blue. I love this one. This is my favorite.
It's sweet.
It's
satisfying, I should say.
Makes my throat relax.
More richer. This is how milk is supposed to taste.
That's excellent. I don't even know the name, but I love it.
Wow, I didn't know it.
Twin cow. No wonder.
Twin cows. Twin cows.
Wow, the packaging is so nice, eh?
Double the cows, double the taste.
Twin cows. Yummy.
Twin Cows full cream long life milk. Taste the difference.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
Embuzi lilibe konkere mu mugodi. Nchosa buda kumedwalika onze.
Sungani umoyo wabanja lanu, chingilizani manzi ya munyansi na vimbuzi vakonkiri mu mugodi vovomelesewa vevichoka kuli wa Lusaka Water and Storage Company.
Touching food before washing after changing diapers. This is tantamount to dangerous cooking. Tawaishi tama James ya nomba fibondo. Tayapu alalanga ma James ya kale. Manja mako tuma James tuchachabe pate after pate. That's why Funko Sambila na hygienic soap. Ili na active silver technology wambele. Soap with technology. Osapapi!
Police, madam.
Go and hygienics and kulukuta her right now.
You are under Samba in the laws of hygienics.
Hygienic soap is a powerful antibacterial soap with active silver technology formulated to kill 99.9% of germs.
Hygienic soap. You are safe in our hands.
Stay happier with DSTV's 2020. All you have to do is pay for your DSTV subscription and you get up to 42% discount. What's more, you get upgraded to the next package.
At once?
Just pay for your current package and get upgraded to the next package. With DSTV, even when times are tough, we got you.
For you, I can do anything.
Now, that's 2020. DSTV. Feel every moment. T's and C's apply.
By Empty Square.
I'm a diamond.
So welcome back to the Diamond Connection. Now, of course, we're getting into our feature. Okay, this is on a very, very special app. When I came across it, I absolutely loved it. I downloaded it just to see what it was all about, get a feel of it. And you know what? It works pretty amazing. And my special guest today, I do have Zanga and of course Moses, who are here, who are the brains behind this very special app, guys. Okay, it's something I haven't seen locally from our developers, so I'm excited. I'm sure you guys were just as excited the moment you created this app. But first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Finally.
Yes.
Finally, we're here.
We're all here. You went for the Tony Lumelu Startup Entrepreneurship Program. If you could just tell me very quickly, I'd like to know what that experience was like, because is that where this MedSearch as well was birthed from?
Not really. The MedSearch app was birthed 2 years ago.
Okay.
Then we're trying to look up for startup capital to make sure that now this idea comes all over Zambia. And we were fortunate enough that they looked at our app and they picked it up. And they helped us with mentorship on how to start a business, how to develop it, how to penetrate the market, and make your business grow. So yeah.
I love that. So what inspired this app, guys?
Problems and trying to and trying to solve a problem that we kept finding. Zanga and I have worked together for a while. I think
10 years.
10 years now,
and still counting.
And counting in the health sector, and we would always have the same situation where people would call him because they're looking for a medical service, or they're looking for a certain medication, or they would call him asking, or they'd call me asking, well, where can I find a pediatrician or a gynecologist or a skin specialist?
Yeah.
And there was this constant back and forth. Oh, do you know where I can find this? Do you know where I can find that? And said there must be an easier way of people to do this. So I said, what if we got all the healthcare providers, all medical service providers, clinics, pharmacies, spas, gyms, all onto one platform, so that if anyone is looking for a particular service, all they need to go is pick up their phone, go to our app, MedSearch Zambia, and then type in what they're looking for, and then it tells them immediately what's available close to them, and then they have the choice of going to the ones that close to them, or if they still want to go to something that's further, that's up to them. But it's giving them the option of knowing what's around them.
Of knowing what's around them. I like that. But how long, you said, so this was born about 2 years ago, but when was this app actually put together and said, okay, it actually works?
So we've had a couple of versions of the app. We're from the health sector, so we had to bring in people from the tech space to come and help us realize the idea into a product. So we started with a few versions of the app, which we've been launching periodically since 2018, and then we'd put them on the Play Store, for example, and then
to get feedback from people to say, okay, guys, this is an application. What do you think? So the first prototype we did, we distributed amongst three groups of people: health personnel, tech personnel, and just ordinary Zambians, to hear what they'll say about the app. Is it user-friendly? Are you able to use it on any phone? We know Android phones also have types of phones, so we brought it there, and we got the feedback. So the first time we had brought it there, we brought it out, because now people gave us the feedback, the problems that we're facing, and then now we put it out there.
It looks like it works well. I was talking to you, Zanga, yesterday, and I was saying, okay, I mean, when you open up the app, well, when you download it, all you obviously do is put in your details, and then once you open the app, it literally zeroes down on your location instantly. So I can see that I can see Bujimfumu and whatnot. I can see like everything there, and at the top right there, if I click it, you can see it's got on the spread there, you've got your pharmacies, the medication, you've got your health facilities and the services, and also a very interesting bit there that says coronavirus screening centers. Was this just a recent ad, the moment we heard of the cases here in Zambia, or it was just, look, in case we do get there, let's put this on?
Okay, for that one, it was recent.
An isolation center.
And an isolation center. It was recent. I think we'll go with what the president said during the Youth Day. The theme was, I take the lead.
Yeah.
So we as youths are trying to take the lead against the fight against COVID-19. So when we saw that this is becoming now a pandemic, Zambia is being affected, 12 cases now. So we said, we are able to contribute to the fight. What can the app do? We know the app is able to put up across all hospitals or facilities, even the medication. But we have a case right now, we have a scenario right now. We're able to put it, so people are able now to click on that button, and it will be able to show them all the screening facilities.
Yeah, because I know, like, for example, if you go to the okay, let me go to the pharmacies. Okay, I'll go to pharmacies. You've got like the name. I'm not advertising. You need to give us some money, y'all. So anyway, when you open the pharmacy slot, you've got the name of a pharmacy, the location, contact numbers, when they open and when they close. This is absolutely amazing. And I can only imagine if you actually had the coronavirus screening centers as well as the isolation points. So if you go to like that on the app, if you click, let's say, pharmacies, then you get to see the information there. Of course, I didn't, because I ain't trying to advertise nobody.
Yeah, true.
And when you click onto medication, what it gives you is details. Okay, so let me pick a random, let's say like activated charcoal powder, and the information is that it's an antidote. And is prescription required? No. So it does have like all these little advices as well, information like if you need a prescription, it will say yes, and if it doesn't, no. You guys, this app is genius. And then you've also included Agrovet as well.
Yes, we did.
Very important element there.
So we're trying to look at health in totality, not just about medicines, but everything to do with health and lifestyle. So we have Agrovet there. We're planning to have lifestyle services, spas, gyms on there, so that you know anything that you need to be healthy should be able to be on the platform. And the more people who, more partners, clinics, pharmacies who partner with us to come onto the app, then we'll be able to populate it more, and we'll be able to find everything that's around you.
Is this app free?
So for users, yes, the app is absolutely free. All you need to do is download the app, and we would like people to very much visit the app, download it. Obviously, to answer the question about the COVID, like Zanga said, we're doing our part, and I think right now everyone has to do their part in whatever small way, even if it's staying home. And for us, it's saying, okay, instead of people going from facility to facility to facility, looking to find where they can be screened, when we have the list of facilities that are being used for COVID screening, people know exactly where to go.
Yeah, because they're not loaded in at the moment. When you click on it, it says no screening centers found. Please check again, later.
Yeah.
So all that is information you're waiting for, of course, from the Ministry of Health, and then you'll be able to load it onto your system.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I absolutely love this app, you guys. And well done. It's nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
A Zambian app that works. Yeah. What? This is exciting. This is really exciting. I'm sure you guys must have been popping champagne the moment this was working so smoothly. Not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, but But also, what are you just hoping, lastly, in under a minute, what are you guys hoping this app will do for people?
So our tagline, we say we want to help make healthcare simplified.
Simplified.
Yeah. So it's correct information, make it easy for people to know where to go when they're looking for whatever it is they're looking for. And that's what the MedSearch app will help you do.
I love it. And I love the moment you add on all those, like the spas and those that do the yoni steams, because I love the yoni steam.
Yeah, true.
It would be absolutely great. And I wish you all the best on this one. But I know, for example, with the corona centers, you obviously need that information to come from government, from the Ministry of Health. Have they been in touch? Have you been back and forth? What is the situation there?
So we are... platforms like this, it's us putting ourselves out there. We are calling for meetings and letting people who are making the decisions. Obviously, information is very important. We want the correct information to be available, and that's what MedSearch is about. It's correct information, so we are reaching out to the relevant authorities to say, we're here, make use of us. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, guys, and I wish you all the best. I hope you guys create more and more of these.
We will. And then just last thing that we can say is we are officially launching it on the 6th of April. Now, because we can't meet because of the COVID, it will be an online launch. So people will be able to download both on Android and iOS. So people are able to follow us on our Facebook page, MedSearch Zambia. Then we'll be able to give them details each and every day, how far, and doing a countdown, a paper countdown, so that people will be able to
I look forward to it. I already have the app on my phone, so, be sure to get it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Let's support Zambian technologies, guys. If we are to advance, Rwanda is already far ahead. Kenya, we're not even going to talk about Kenya. So if we want to excel in these areas, we need to do our part and, of course, support local. All right. So anyway, boys, thank you so much for being here with me.
Pleasure.
To the rest of the team, Vida Mulenga, and the rest of the team in transmission, we'd like to say thank you for joining us today. But remember, please, in the time of Corona, wash your hands. Guys, if when you use your phone, make sure you wipe it down as well, because people might touch your phone and whatnot. So be sure you do wipe down your phone. Don't touch your face. Try and stay away from the high fives. Keep a meter apart from people. Just do what you can to protect yourselves. Remember, we are at 12 cases today. South Africa is at 709 cases. So you see, this is a virus that could easily spread very quickly, but remember, let us not panic. Let us not panic. The only way we can minimize the spread is by following precautions. So let's do just that. Stick to the measures. Don't go out. Work from home. But otherwise, good day.
Batata, you're here. I thought you said lunch. Oh, come on, my son. I cannot wait to see my first ever grandson.
As a young modern wife, entertaining my Wapongoshi was always a mini nightmare. But today, I'll treat them to a special traditional secret. Tata, Maya, Moisene.
Oh, thank you very much, my daughter. Thank you very much. This Bemba woman really knows how to prepare this chibwantu. Exactly like from southern province. Please give me some more.
Times have changed, but some things in life shouldn't. Introducing Amasipsip Chiwantu traditional maize drink. Traditional taste that has stood the test of time.
Last time I had such nice chiwantu was at home. Prepared by my mother.
Amasipsip Chiwantu, a taste of local tradition.
News in 60 seconds, powered by Liquid Telecom.
President Edgar Lungu has directed that all bars, nightclubs, cinemas, gyms and casinos be closed effective midnight on Thursday, March 26, 2020. And restaurants have been directed to operate on a takeaway and delivery basis. Addressing the nation on Wednesday morning, President Lungu says essential businesses dealing in goods and services will remain in operation. This follows the rise in coronavirus cases to 12 since the first 2 cases were reported over a week ago. The president has also directed that all international flights to and from Harumanga Nkumbola, Simon Mwansa Kapwepwe and Damfo international airports be suspended. He asked that Zambia, being a landlocked country, such a crisis might lead to forced lockdown if the neighbors close their borders, a situation which might take the country economically vulnerable and weaker. Confirmed global COVID-19 cases have risen to 423,000 with 18,000 deaths and 109,000 recoveries so far.
News in 60 seconds, powered by Liquid Telecom.
Diamond TV, television reinvented.
Everybody listen up! You know how they say laughter's the best medicine? Well, it's also timeless. Like these grown-ups taking a trip down memory lane. Maybe not so grown-up. I've also heard people saying that life is a comedy to those who think like a man.
See what I did there? Stay connected for more hilarious moments all the way from Swamp World. Aren't they the cutest? We're here to keep you laughing your apples off. Go TV. Live it, love it.
Hello, pesa nyumba? Yes, madam. My men are on the ground. Balecha nakalaka dot trim kala mwale fire mixed naka sunset gold. You like it? In Kateshi. Kateshi is a magical color. For you to appreciate it, if I can have money, I
know me, I'm a woman of class. I love quality things. What am I rubbish? I'm in my pen time.
Narukamba ine. Let's buy colossal quality pen. Osati mapratanga pen here. Sure. Me, I'm just a painter.
Clearly, there's no paint job quite like a Colossal paint job. Choose from a variety of high-quality coats that will give you a professional finish every time.
Wow! This is exactly what I wanted!
Colossal. Paint like no other.
Chelsea cookies, delicious cookies, the secret recipe to happiness. A little bit of chocolate for moments you won't forget to make your masterpiece of tastiness. A little bit of butter makes life better for memories to bring you happiness. And for you, Mr. Healthy, I have something nice and OT to keep you going nice and strong. Chelsea cookies, delicious cookies, baking delicious memories. Chelsea cookies, tasty cookies, baking delicious memories.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
We're diving in deep this March, flexing our muscles to give you a great viewing experience. Let's do this. Put your big girl pants on and forge your own path.
This is the first check I've ever gotten.
How many people would kill to be a gram?
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Hostile conditions, huh? Brush it off. Stay connected to GoTV for shows that will get you pumped up. We're going all in this March. GoTV. Live it. Love it.
Zapeleka food mama.
Okay, I'll just be in the office.
Mudira kudia? Oh, okay. Mzatira pamene kwa madam.
Leo.
Wanangati na ngumu pamene hapo. Madam.
I forgot my bag.
Oh.
Thank you.
Skulapi kwa mene huko madam. Hapi tambie kwa nini fa.
Ukale zachoka nzabu.
Madam.